I need to hit more shots in Spellbreak. If you're anything like me, you do too, so let's talk about some ways to make it happen. The first thing that you need to know is that pretty much everything in Spellbreak is a projectile. It's not hit scan. So what that means is unless our target is standing still, we're not just going to aim exactly at what we're trying to hit and fire. You kind of got to anticipate in your head, where is my target going to be when my fireball actually connects? And that's a factor of where they are, where they're moving, how quickly they're moving, where are you, and how quickly does what you're shooting travel. And that's a lot of math in your head, but you kind of just need to think about leading your target a little bit and start to sort of dial in that mental process of figuring out how two objects are going to collide in space. So that's the first piece. The second piece is the in-game settings. So let's go ahead and take a look there. You have mouse sensitivity for X and Y. This allows you to have them be different. That is really kind of a personal preference thing. Maybe if you have a weird resolution, or if you're coming from a different FPS and you already kind of have a lot of muscle memory, you can tweak these to make Spellbreak feel like your sort of home game so that things are very natural for you. Invert mouse, I'm a weirdo. I grew up playing flight simulators as a young kid, so my up and down are backwards. Don't worry about that. For most people, you probably want this the other way. Mouse smoothing, that is for people who have maybe a really cheap, inexpensive mouse that has kind of jerky movement. This is a way in software to sort of approximate a higher grade mouse that doesn't have that jerky movement. Now, FOV scaling trips a lot of people up, so let's kind of deep dive this one for a second. When I charge up an ice shot, and I'm sort of aiming down my sights at my opponent, my field of view is tightened down, it's scoped down, and if my sensitivity remains the same, I'm going to nudge my mouse a little bit and all of a sudden like way over here. It makes it really hard to hit your shots. So the FOV scaling is essentially just a way to make it feel the same, whether I'm here shooting fireballs or I'm zoomed in. If you play with it and turn it on and off in the practice lobby, you'll see kind of the difference that you feel. You're going to be like spinning around like crazy when you're zoomed in. So that's it for in-game settings. The next thing that I want to address is the DPI on your mouse. So if you ran out and you bought your first fancy gaming mouse like I did, you're like, whoa, it has 10 million DPI, and you crank it all the way up, and then all of a sudden you're doing spins, right? You nudge your mouse a tiny little bit and you're doing spins. So this is one of those things where higher isn't necessarily better. You actually want about the lowest thing you can comfortably use so that you can make those fine adjustments as you're aiming. The other thing too, don't run out and talk to your favorite streamer and go, okay, what DPI do you use? And then immediately copy them. DPI actually scales with your screen resolution, so depending on what your resolution is compared to theirs, you may need to modify. There's a really, really good and very old thread on Team Liquid that goes into the science of all this stuff. I'll link it down below, and you can kind of check that out if you're curious. But don't just copy somebody else's DPI because it may not work for your body mechanics, and it definitely might not work for your resolution. So that's kind of it for out-of-game stuff. The only other thing that I want to cover is your actual Windows settings themselves, because a lot of people kind of miss this if you are new to first-person shooters especially. So you want your precision, or your pointer speed rather, to be in the exact middle. That's the 6th tick here. And you want pointer precision off. This sounds like you want it, right? Enhanced pointer precision, that seems just good, right? No. Okay, so what this does is it applies an acceleration based on where you moved your mouse to, like how far you moved it, and then how quickly you did it. And that acceleration isn't a predictable thing, and it completely destroys your ability to develop any muscle memory. So this is going to make it really, really, really hard to get good aim. You definitely want this setting off, and it's something that a lot of people miss if they're coming to a first-person shooter for the first time. It's something where you're going to be like, why can all my friends aim and I can't? So definitely turn that off. Look at all those other settings, and hey, go practice. I know I need to.